Sonny Corinthos just crossed a line he can never uncross, and Ava Jerome is paying the ultimate price. A gallery shootout, a kidnapped Avery, and a cold fusion bombshell from Ethan Lovett just shattered Port Charles. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It is Friday, and I am still shaking from what we just watched. Grab a drink, because we need to unpack this absolute madness together. I literally cannot even process what I just watched on my screen. I am sitting here typing this at 2 in the morning because my brain is running a million miles a minute and I just need to get this out of my system before I explode. Am I the only one who is screaming at their television right now? Because what General Hospital just did with Sonny, Ava, and Sidwell is easily the most unhinged, high-stakes, heart-stopping television they have given us in years. And I have been watching this show since 2015, so you know I have seen my fair share of mob shootouts and kidnappings. But this was next level. Let's just jump right into the absolute audacity of Sonny Corinthos. I am sorry, but can we talk about this? Sonny actually thought it was a brilliant, foolproof idea to use Ava Jerome as bait to lure Jen Sidwell into a trap. Ava Jerome, the mother of his child. The woman who has already been through absolute hell and back this year. And Sonny, in all his smug, dimpled glory, decides that she is the perfect pawn for his little mob game. I mean, I know Sonny has a history of making terrible decisions when his back is against the wall, but this is a new low even for him. He has been so obsessed with taking Sidwell down, so obsessed with proving he is still the undisputed king of Port Charles, that he completely lost sight of the collateral damage. But here is the thing about Jen Sidwell. He is not your average Port Charles villain. He is not some street-level thug that Sonny can just intimidate in an alleyway. Sidwell is always 10 steps ahead. So what does Sidwell do when he realizes Sonny is trying to play him? He doesn't just avoid the trap. He flips the entire board over. He kidnapped Avery. I literally gasped out loud when the reveal happened. Avery! That poor sweet girl has been used as a pawn in mob wars and custody battles since the day she was born, and here we are again. Sidwell knew exactly what he was doing. He knew that the only way to neutralize Sonny and completely paralyze Ava was to take the one thing they both love more than themselves. The sheer terror of Avery being in the hands of a man who casually shoots people like Lucas Jones and covers up murders for breakfast is making my stomach turn. And Maura West, give this woman her Emmy right now. Just hand it to her. The look on Ava's face when she realized her daughter was gone and that Sonny's arrogant plan was the reason? Chills. Literal chills all over my body. Ava has done some terrible things in her past, and I know half the fandom still hates her for the Morgan situation, but you cannot deny the fierce, feral love she has for her daughter. Seeing her completely break down, and then immediately harden into this lethal, desperate mother bear, it was soap opera perfection. So that brings us to the confrontation at the Jerome Art Gallery. Let me just say, the cinematography in this episode was gorgeous. The lighting, the shadows, the priceless artwork surrounding these absolute monsters as they face off. It was cinematic. You have Sonny realizing his plan is completely blown up in his face. You have Sidwell standing there looking so incredibly smug because he holds all the cards. And then you have Ava. Poor, trapped, desperate Ava, caught right in the middle. Sidwell is using Avery to apply maximum pressure, and Ava is suddenly faced with the most horrific dilemma of her life. She is torn between her bizarre, toxic loyalty to Sonny, the father of her child, the man who has protected her and destroyed her in equal measure, and the immediate safety of her little girl. Sidwell makes it very clear, if Ava doesn't turn on Sonny, Avery pays the price. I was sitting on the edge of my couch screaming, "Do it, Ava! Betray him!" Because let's be real, Sonny put them in this position. He used her as bait. Why should she protect his empire when her daughter's life is on the line? But wait, I am getting ahead of myself. Because just when you think the tension in that gallery cannot possibly get any tighter, the doors burst open. And who walks in? Ethan freaking Lovett. I was so confused for a solid 10 seconds. Like, what is Ethan doing here? We have been watching Ethan skulk around General Hospital stealing DNA swabs from cold cases and lying to Alexis Davis about being baby Phoebe's biological father. He has been so focused on this closed adoption with Chase and Brooklyn, trying to hide Phoebe from her real, dangerous criminal father. I honestly thought his storyline was completely disconnected from the mob war. But boy was I wrong. Ethan marches into the Jerome Gallery, right in the middle of this deadly standoff, and drops a bombshell that changes the entire landscape of the show. he reveals the shocking truth about Jen Sidwell. Sidwell isn't just trying to take over Sonny's territory. Sidwell is deeply, intimately connected to the Cold Fusion Project. Yes, the Cold Fusion Project. My jaw actually unhinged. If you have been paying attention to the Windermere storyline, you know that Ross Cullum just dragged a drugged Liesel Obrecht into the sub-basement with Jocelyn Jacks to force her to finish Caesar Faison's old Cold Fusion prototype because Britt Westbourne is on the run. We knew Sidwell was involved in the background, but Ethan just laid it all out. Ethan revealed that the dangerous criminal he has been trying to protect Phoebe from, the dark secrets tied to Delilah Wilson and the Kyoko Art Gallery in Manhattan. It all leads back to Sidwell and this world-ending technology. It makes so much sense now. Ava and Alexis were just at that Manhattan gallery asking Apollo about Delilah's tattoo, and Apollo was acting super shady. Ethan knew. Ethan knew that Sidwell was the mastermind behind the Cold Fusion revival, and he knew that if Sidwell got his hands on that power, no one in Port Charles would ever be safe. Ethan crashing this mob standoff to expose Sidwell's endgame was the most heroic, reckless, incredible thing he has done since he came back to the show. But of course, because this is General Hospital, you can't just drop a bombshell like that and expect everyone to calmly talk it out. The second Ethan exposed Sidwell's true agenda, the tension snapped. The shootout erupted. And let me tell you, this wasn't just a few pop shots. This was a full-blown, chaotic, terrifying firefight. Glass shattering everywhere. Sculptures exploding. And the blood. The visual of blood literally splattering across Ava's priceless, beautiful artwork was so incredibly poetic. It was like a visual representation of Sonny's violent world completely staining and destroying the life Ava has tried to build for herself. I was watching through my fingers. Bullets are flying, Ethan is diving for cover, Sonny is firing back, and Sidwell's goons are swarming the place. It was absolute pandemonium. And right in the center of it all is Ava Jerome. The episode ended on the most agonizing cliffhanger of the year. The gunfire pauses for just a second. Ava has a weapon. She has a clear shot. But the choice she has to make is agonizing. Sidwell has made his terms clear, and Sonny is completely exposed. Ava has to make a split-second decision right there in the gallery. She can either pull the trigger and take an action that will permanently, irrevocably end Sonny Corinthos' power and reign in Port Charles forever, or she can sacrifice her own life, throw herself into the crossfire, and do whatever it takes to ensure Avery survives. I am sorry, but if I am Ava, Sonny is going down. I know some people are loving this whole return of the ruthless mob boss Sonny era, but personally, I am so over it. He has caused so much pain. He has alienated his children. He pushed Michael away. He is oblivious to Christina leaving for medical school. He is having a secret affair with Justine Turner. And now he has literally served Ava up on a silver platter to a psychopath who kidnapped their child. Sonny's hubris needs to have consequences. And what better consequence than the mother of his child finally saying enough and stripping him of his power to save their daughter? But then again, this is Ava we are talking about. She is a survivor, but her love for Avery is her one true weakness. I am genuinely terrified that Ava is going to take a bullet to save Sonny just so Sonny can save Avery. If they kill off Ava Jerome, I swear I am rioting. You cannot kill off one of the most complex, fascinating women on daytime television just to further Sonny's man pain. You just can't. And what about Ethan? Is he going to make it out of this gallery alive? He just put a massive target on his back by exposing Sidwell's connection to the Cold Fusion Project. If Sidwell survives this shootout, he is going to hunt Ethan down, and that means baby Phoebe is in more danger than ever. Chase and Brooklyn have absolutely no idea what kind of nightmare they are adopting into. They think they are just getting a sweet little baby, but they are actually adopting a child tied to international terrorism and cold fusion. It is wild. I also have to wonder how this impacts the hostages over at Windermere. If Sidwell's operation is exposed at the gallery, what does that mean for Jocelyn and Liesel? Jocelyn is already plotting her escape, and Liesel is furious after finding out Cassius cremated Nathan. If Sidwell gets desperate because Ethan blew his cover, he might order Cullum to just execute the hostages and cut their losses. Carly is already frantic, visiting Brennan at Turning Woods and begging the WSB to intervene. If Carly finds out that Sonny's botched trap at the gallery just accelerated Sidwell's timeline, she is going to murder Sonny herself. Okay, back to the point. The gallery scene, I am just so overwhelmed by the sheer scale of this episode. The writers tied together the mob war, the art gallery mystery, Ethan's fake DNA storyline, and the Windermere cold fusion hostage crisis, all in one massive, bloody confrontation. It is the kind of storytelling that reminds me why I have dedicated so many years of my life to watching this soap. When GH gets it right, they get it so right. But I am also so incredibly stressed. I know a lot of you in the forums are probably cheering for Sonny to somehow pull off a miracle and shoot his way out of this, but I really, really hope the writers let Ava be the one to decide how this ends. She deserves the agency. She deserves to be the one who protects her daughter when Sonny failed. If Ava ends Sonny's empire, it would be the ultimate poetic justice for everything he has put her through over the years. I am going to be holding my breath all weekend. I don't know how I am supposed to sleep, let alone wait until Monday to find out who gets shot, what happens to Avery, and if Ethan's cold fusion reveal is going to bring the WSB crashing down on Port Charles. What do you guys think? Am I crazy for wanting Ava to betray Sonny? Do you think Ethan's going to survive this? And where on earth is Sidwell keeping Avery? Drop your thoughts, your theories, and your rants in the comments because I need to talk to people who understand this level of stress. I am going to go rewatch that final scene another 10 times and probably cry about Maura West's acting again. Until next time, stay safe, Port Charles fans.